In this video, I'm continuing my Hercules trials. Okay, I'm continuing my Hercules myths and how they relate to the Bible and how there's a lots of revelation in it. This is my first video. This is the second video. I might have to make another video because the Hercules myth is very long and I want to talk about a lot of stuff. So the next beasts that Hercules fights or gets rid of is the Stymphalian birds. They're a mythological bird. They're made of metal. And what they do is they use their feathers as like daggers sometimes. They throw their feathers like Chinese stars almost. And it's like a weapon, okay? And usually these animals represented people, okay? They represented a people group, usually. But anyway, something that's very interesting is that God calls you a Stymphalian bird. And he tells you to rise up against evildoers and put on the full metal armor of God. He calls you a metal bird, and he tells you to fight for people and fight for him, okay? And it's just so funny because that not only is this Stymphalian bird a mythological bird from the ancient past in the Bible and the Greek myths, it is an X-Men character I recognized right away. I vaguely remember this from the X-Men. I rewatched the scene real fast, and I was like, oh yeah, that is a Stymphalian bird. And that's not a coincidence because people just remake things, okay? And I think God uses that. But so Hercules is fighting. He is opposing the Stymphalian birds, okay? And they're supposed to be in their Greek myth. They're bad, and I think even in this X-Men movie, he's supposed to be a bad guy, okay? Well, there is revelation in that because most people think Christians are the bad guy, okay? They fight the Christians off, and that's exactly what Hercules does with the Stymphalian birds. The gods sent him a drum, like a magical drum, and he plays the magical drum, and he tries to shoot them with his arrows a little bit, okay? But then he chases them off with the sound of the drum, okay? He scares them off, okay? And in real life, that happens all the time in real life, okay? God sent some Christians. He tells Christians to rise up and help people, and you think that Christians are the bad guys, so you chase them off. That's true. The whole thing is true. Because even in the X-Men movie, I think he's supposed to be a bad guy. Well, in real life, Christians are usually portrayed as the bad guy in every single movie. So I'm totally going to use that. Even in this Greek myth, the Stymphalian birds are the bad guy. Okay? They're something that you need to get rid of. Christians are people that you have to scare off. You don't want them helping you in any way. Don't tell me about Jesus. I don't want to hear it. Get out of here. So that's true. This is not a myth. That's all true. And it's so funny because Hercules is supposed to be on a path to redemption. Okay, but I'm definitely not there yet. But at the end of the myth, he dies. He fails his mission. He ends up doing something really, really bad. I'm not there yet. And he ends up dying, burning to death. Well, that is revelation for you. If you keep sending off those Christians, if you keep scaring off the people that God sent to help you, you're gonna burn to death. Because Hercules, that's what happens to Hercules. He ends up burning to death, okay? There's lots of revelation in this Hercules stuff. It's all prophetic to me. Because that's exactly what's gonna happen to you if you keep sending off the people that God sent to help you. Alright, anyway. Alright, and the next thing that Hercules does, or his next task, is he has to wrestle and capture the Cretan bull. This white bull. And this is the father of the Minotaur. This white bull is the Minotaur's father. And this bull is really evil. Okay, it's running around and killing everybody, but no one wants to kill it. Okay, because they kind of respect it a little bit. They respect the white bull. They want it to stop killing everybody, but they're too afraid to kill themselves. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I think people reuse this stuff, and they put them in movies, okay? Like, I think a movie or movies that really reminds me of Hercules is the Hunger Games. Okay, yeah, it's like a female version of Hercules a little bit. Okay, because she has to go through 12 districts, and Hercules goes through 12 trials. There's just a whole bunch of parallelism there. And another reason it reminds me of Hercules is because, you know, like if you've seen Hunger Games, they get like weapons and tools and gifts from the sky, okay, from the gods, I guess. I know it's from the arena leaders or whatever. That's exactly where Hercules gets all his stuff. Hercules gets his bow from the gods. It kind of just magically floats down to him, or that it just magically appears in front of him. He gets his drums from the gods. Like they just magically appear there. Okay, and that reminds me of the Hunger Games a lot. And I'm really gonna use that towards the end of the video because these weapons are real. Okay, these weapons are real life things that people use to kill each other. But they use weapons. They use science and technology. They use stuff like this to kill Christians, and they try to get away from God's judgment. Okay, they build technology to escape God, okay, or to defeat God, or say they're better than God. And I'm really going to use that at the end of the video. Another parallelism is they're both archers, okay, and it just keeps going and going and going. Okay, and it's just kind of funny that, the bad guy in the movie is this big white Snow, right? His name is Snow. He's a big white guy, and one of Hercules' things he has to conquer is a big white bull, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that people just reuse these stories and they remake them. Okay, anyway, but something that's interesting or even confusing is that this big white bull is supposed to be like the Minotaur's father, and it's kind of a bad guy. Okay, but something that's weird is that sometimes Zeus is depicted as a white bull, so that's weird. It's like, is this bull supposed to be good or bad to the Greeks? And it's kind of confusing because it's almost like they're trying to slightly knock on Zeus a little bit. Maybe some people were, but they're afraid to do it because maybe some of these Greek people knew that Zeus was a jerk. Okay, maybe there's some underlying themes in this. Because Zeus is a white bull, but in some of these Greek myths, the white bull is a bad guy. So maybe they were kind of hinting. Maybe some of these Greek people knew that that Zeus was a jerk. Okay, and sometimes people do that. Okay, sometimes the people in the kingdom don't like the president, right? And so they make subliminal messages, stories to kind of hint that they don't like the boss. All right, maybe because in real life situations, okay, sometimes people don't like their leader. Okay, obviously not every single person likes the president in the United States. Not every single person likes their leader. Okay, and so they make stories to kind of hint that they don't like him. Okay, so that could be what's going on here. Okay, so maybe the Greek people made up the story about Hercules killing a white bull, aka Zeus. Okay, we need someone to help us with this evil leader. Somebody please take him away from us. Okay, and hopefully you can be. A Christian can take away Zeus for you real fast, because Zeus was disgusting. All these Greek gods are gross. Okay, they're absolutely disgusting. Zeus was doing the R word to women. Kronos was doing the R word to women. They were just terrible. Okay, they were, even the words out of their own mouths. These Greek gods were awful. They did not sound very good at all. They sounded really terrible. All right. And that's so crazy because that is the story of the Minotaur. If you've seen this video, and this white bull is supposed to be the father of the Minotaur. Okay, the story of the Minotaur is a story about how a group of people don't like their god anymore, and they're asking another group of people for help to get rid of it. And that could be the reading in between the lines of why they asked Hercules to come and get rid of this white bull, aka Zeus, because it could be an actual cry for help. Okay, because in real life, some of these ancient people didn't like their gods. There's lots of evidence of that. Okay, not every single Greek person loved Zeus. Okay, and that's good. And there's lots of evidence that all throughout all history. Okay, and I'll bring that up another time. But anyway, and the next group of beasts Hercules has to conquer are the horses of Diomedes. And this is really important because I think there's a reference here to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Okay, because these horses aren't good. Okay, and at first glance, the horses and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are not good either, right? They cause destruction, they're unleashed, and they cause, hunger, famine, blah, blah, blah. And that's what these horses are doing, kind of. Okay, they're a group of horses. They're not good. Okay, a king has them. He uses them to eat people. They run around eating people. Okay, or he feeds people to the horses because these are like carnivorous horses. Okay, and I definitely think this is a 4 horsemen of the apocalypse reference, because that's what the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse do. They're unleashed, and they unleash hunger, death, famine. Okay. So the Bible is designed for everyone. Okay, the Bible was designed to help Greek people. So when a Greek person read the book of Revelation, they should be getting a Horses of Diomedes reference when they read the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. That's how the Bible is designed. The Bible is designed to help people in their own time frame and in their own culture. God uses a multi-dimensional pathways to save these people. Okay, so when the Greeks would have read this Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, they would have probably made a reference to the horses of Diomedes, and that was all on purpose by God to try to save these people. Okay, and I actually think the Book of Revelation makes a reference to Hercules, but it doesn't use his name. But I'll bring it up again later. Okay, but hopefully the point would have been they would have relied on Christians and Jesus to restrain this stuff, and not some other hero like Hercules. Is the point. Okay, you have to call on Jesus, not Hercules or some other guy, to come and help you with your Zeus and man-eating horse problem. Okay, and I talk about all these concepts, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I talk about in this video right here. Okay, it's about centaurs, but I talk about the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. But even this Hercules stuff is going to tie in with that stuff again, so I have to bring it up. Okay, so the Four Horsemen, the Apocalypse. If you have to connect all this stuff together. Okay, only high-ranking authority has control over the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and in the Bible, God gives that to you and to Jesus. Okay, that's all in the Bible, but you have to really watch this video right here. Okay, I go over the Bible verses. Only people with high-ranking authority, even in the Persian religion, only someone with high-ranking authority can wrestle these monsters. Okay, and that person is Christians and Jesus. It's no one else. It's not Hercules. Okay. Okay, but even in the story, what happens is Hercules gets control of these horses from the king. Okay, and that's Persian stuff, that's biblical stuff, that's combining different religions together, but God is trying to save these people. Okay, and God is the one who has authority over these horses. Okay, he's the one that can tame the horses, and you too. Even in Islam, that concept is created. According to them, it's Muhammad who rides around on this white horse, this pale rider, right? Alright, God is talking to everyone. He's not just talking to one group of people, he's talking to everyone, because everyone's copying each other anyway. Okay? And so this myth keeps going. Supposedly these horses were real, okay? Somehow they were a real horse based off of real horses, and their descendants, these horses gave birth, of course, and that was the horse that Alexander the Great rode. Okay, it's like this magic horse that can travel and conquer other lands. Okay, they're like magical horses. Okay, it's got super horse blood in it. Okay, they're like divine horses. All right. And God uses all those concepts. But something that's funny, that's crazy, is because these horses originally were supposed to be bad, right? And no, really, Alexander the Great and Muhammad and false heroes like Hercules will actually bring you death and destruction if you don't believe in Jesus. Okay, that part's not a lie at all. Because these horses and their riders will actually bring you death, famine, destruction. Okay, no joke. Go ahead and believe in Alexander the Great or Muhammad or false heroes like Hercules, because God's gonna give you what you want. Okay, He's gonna give you the famine. Okay, especially when you die. Okay, you're gonna not go to a very good place. All right, and I talk about that in greater detail in that Centaur video. Okay, so if you want to know more, go watch that video, because I'm trying to continue this Hercules stuff, not just go on about the horses. Anyway, all right. And to continue with the horse story is not done yet. Okay, so Hercules tames these horses, and they become his horses, kind of, right? And what he does is he feeds that evil king to his horses. He got eaten by his own horses, okay? And that reminds me of Jezebel a little bit, because I think I talked about Jezebel in this Cerberus, in this dog video right here, okay? Jezebel was eaten by her own dogs. Those were probably her dogs. Okay, and the same thing has happened here. This evil king got eaten by his own horses. Okay, and there's definitely a reference to that. There's parallelism on purpose. Okay, anyway, and so Hercules, they're like Hercules horses, but the minute that Hercules leaves the horses go crazy again. Okay, some other guy, he tries to leave the horses with another guy, and the other guy doesn't know how to tame them. Okay, and they immediately go back to being crazy again. Okay, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of when Moses leaves the Israelites to go up on top of the mountain. They leave and they come back and they're being all crazy again. It reminds me of stuff like that, okay? Because when the authority figure isn't there, the people go back to their old ways. And that's exactly what happened in the New Testament, okay? There's a 400-year gap between the Old Testament and the New Testament where God is quiet. And immediately the Pharisees took over. It's like as soon as they think God's not watching or the authority figure's not watching, they go back, they go do evil, alright? And that's the sad thing is God can always see you. He's never not there, okay? He can see you, what you're doing. That's why you need to have a God in your life and not just another person. Because other people can't understand what you're doing maybe when you're gone, but God can always see you, okay? Anyway, so there's obviously parallelism there. Alright, this next part of the story is really important. It's about Orion's belt, okay? And Hercules is tasked with stealing a belt from a woman, and okay, he has to steal this golden belt. This is very important. God uses the current information with this past information, okay? And God, it's so funny because God tells you to steal Orion's belt, to loosen Orion's belt, okay? And what in the world is going on with this belt? Alright, this is about dismantling the devil, okay? This is about dethroning evil theology, okay? Taking down the devil and evil people a few notches, okay? And this is about trying to expose the devil for what he really is. Because the devil is usually depicted as dressed very nice. He has a bunch of long hair. He looks very nice to people. And this is about exposing the devil, taking away his covering, his false covering, and exposing him. And I'm going to do this way, okay? Okay, so I'm going to use sports. Okay, I'm going to talk about sports again. Okay, because obviously there are golden belts you get in sports. Okay? Which, in my opinion, is a huge problem. This is about being a false champion. Okay? This is about the devil making you think that you're accomplishing something when you're really doing nothing. Okay? You are out of your mind. If you think God cares, if you're good at karate, or if you're good at knocking people around, or if you're good at sports, okay? God doesn't care how good you are at sports, but according to billions of people, that is the most important thing in their lives, okay? Just like in football, you get a golden ring, the Super Bowl ring, right? There are many sports that use the golden belt or a belt buckle, okay? If you accomplish something, the devil wants you to think that these people think they accomplished something when they have done nothing, okay? You are out of your mind if you think God cares about sports, okay? If it's possible that sometimes Christians can use sports to elevate Jesus, okay? It's possible for you to be into sports and still have a relationship with Christ, but that's not what's happening 99.9% of the time, okay? Most of the time, these people who are into sports, either playing or watching, they have a false accomplishment, okay? They think they have accomplished something, and you think that this stuff, it means something to God or the Bible, and when it doesn't, okay? You think you look really cool with all the stuff on. You actually, in God's eyes, most of the time you're being foolish. And I'm gonna read this Bible passage right here. This is about exposing the evil, and stop making evil things look good, okay? Instead of a fragrance, there will be a stench. Instead of a belt, a rope. Instead of styled hair, baldness. Instead of fine clothing, sackcloth. Instead of beauty, shame. You think God cares that you're good at knocking people around, and you think God cares you're good at sports? He doesn't. You're actually just digging yourself into the grave, okay? You might see something very beautiful in a Super Bowl ring. God sees nasty, okay? Yeah, you might think you being a bull, there's so many different sports that they have different things you win, or like in the Olympics, you get a golden sash, right? Okay, and it's so funny because this is crazy because in the Bible, God is depicted wearing a golden sash. God has a golden belt, okay? Because the devil likes to dress like God. He likes to he wants you to think that you're God, okay? He wants you to think that stuff is very godly. You're getting closer to God the better you are at sports, for example. That's just one example I'm using, okay? When God doesn't care at all. Okay, it kind of reminds me too of when actors, they win their golden man, the Golden Globe Awards or whatever. You think that this thing is helping you? God sees that you are failing. Okay, God doesn't care that you're good at acting. God doesn't care that you're good at sports. He cares that you are helping people and saving people's souls and bringing people to Jesus. That's what he cares about. Okay, it's possible you can use some of that stuff to save people and bring people to Jesus, but that's not happening most of the time. Okay, so God is telling you to steal this belt from people. Okay, God is telling you to steal it and give it back to God, because that's exactly what Hercules does. He steals this belt, he gives it to somebody else. Okay, it's about taking back what's God's, because God is the one that's depicted as wearing this golden belt in the Bible. Okay, Christians and Jesus are the real champions here. And they're not champions because they're good at sports. They're champions because they're good at saving people. They save people. They know what really matters. And watching sports and playing sports doesn't really matter that much at all. Okay? So yeah, this is about waking people up to this stuff. Waking people up to their false covering. Okay? This stuff is killing you. This stuff kills people. This is death. Okay, in the Bible, God tells you to take off the stones of death, to remove your Orion's belt, to realize that this stuff is killing you, not helping you. Being obsessed with sports and movies and blah 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 is killing you. You are dying. Your soul is dying. Okay, you're gonna go end up in hell, man. So yeah, this is about exposing evil, unglorifying evil concepts and things, and giving it back to God. Okay, glorifying God and unglorifying the devil. Okay, and evil things. All right, and that's what Hercules does. He steals a belt and he gives it to somebody else. Well, that belt better be going to God or Jesus. Okay, or other Christians. You can glorify other Christians. That's good too, I think. All right, and just to wrap up the rest of that part of the story, so Hercules steals this belt. Okay. What happens is that Hera, who's his main arch enemy, kind of spreads a rumor that he's just there to kill everybody, even though he's not really there. He's there to steal a belt. He wants his belt, but so Hera's like his arch enemy, and she starts spreading a rumor that he's there to kidnap the princess or to kill the princess, even though that really wasn't what he was gonna do. But anyway, and so the Amazonians attack him. They all gang up on him and attack him. Okay, and the princess ends up dying. It's like Wonder Woman. It's like, okay, so he visits Wonder Woman Island. Okay, and he gets into a fight with them because Hera spreads a rumor about him that he's really there to kill everybody. All right, and anyway, and that's the end of that part of the story. Okay, and I wanted to bring up the Hercules-Nimrod connection. Okay, no, Hercules isn't really known for building a tower, but Nimrod is known as a mighty hunter, and he's usually depicted as holding a bow, which is what Orion is. Okay, some people connect Orion with Nimrod. Okay, anyway, so there's and Hercules kind of sounds like he's a hunter. Okay, he hunts these animals, or he sounds like he's capturing some of these exotic animals, taming them. All right, and there's definitely a Nimrod connection there, because Nimrod is called a mighty hunter, and that's what Hercules is. He's a mighty hunter, but at face value, he's not really good. Okay, because he ends up failing everything at the end anyway. And believe it or not, that is not the only Nimrod connection in this story. So, when the story continues, okay, the next thing that happens in this Hercules adventure is Hercules tries to kill the sun with his arrows. He tries to shoot the sun with his arrows, and he tries to kill the sun. And that is some definitely Nimrod connection. Okay, Hercules sees the sun. He doesn't want the sun around anymore, so he tries to put it down. Okay, and obviously that is Nimrod Tower of Babel stuff. And it's so funny because this stuff is still in the movies because people just remake these stories, and I'm trying to repurpose them and reuse them. And that's one of the many, God uses the Tower of Babel to explain lots of things, but one of the many things is they built this big tower to get close to God to kill him. because, you know, the Nimrod myth is that he could climb the Tower of Babel and try to shoot the tower, kill God with his arrows. Okay, he was trying to get closer to God, not to because he wanted to be next to him, because he wanted to kill him. It reminds me of Judas a little bit. Isn't that what Judas did? He got really close to Jesus, but he was really just there to kill him, right? And of course, these movies use the same themes, and that's because that's where these movies come from. And I'm gonna reuse the end of this video for that, and I think I'm gonna end the video there. Anyway, so please think about this stuff, guys, and thank you. And something else I wanted to add, sometimes the bad guy sounds more like the God of the Bible than anything, because usually that's what happens. People view God as the bad guy. And I'm going to use that, okay?
Always the same. And now